Hello, my name is host Eric. I'm the host Talking with Famous People. We're talking this evening about authenticity in media, and the reason it was prompted by a comment by Basement Overlord. Basement Overlord is very nice in that he will often comment positive comments on my songs, which always gets me very happy because it's really hard to get people to. It's a lot easier to get people to engage with you about talking, of course, because there's a lot more to say about it. Unless you're talking about the lyrics or something of a song, there's not really a lot to say except I like that song or I don't like that song or whatever, So I'm always happy when he does that. And he said, I was like, oh, thank you so much for commenting on my music. I really appreciate that. And he said, I think that it's the most authentic media you do, which I found interesting, an interesting term to use, and it reminded me of a quote, well, not a quote, but what Garrison Keillor said about this, which is he maintains that authenticity and honesty are not important to making good media. That it's something else. Well, I don't agree with Garrison Keillor particularly on that, but I understand his point in the sense that obviously, there's a certain constructed quality to any media product based on the fact that it's going to be experienced without you. So you're not going to be able to adjust. Or you can't make a video and then go, well, it's okay. When people watch it, I'll just mention to them that, oh, ignore that part or something. I mean, that's what annotations are for. But really, at the end of the day, you're leaving it out to fend for itself in the world, and chances are it's going to be completely ignored and neglected. Your best hope is that it be equipped with some means of connecting with people. So there's a person named Tank Up, who's I would guess at EHB almost for sure, younger than me, probably mid-20s, and he's got a couple of videos up where he does like gross shit, like he's like, oh, I got a bloody nose, and he's got like all this blood coming out of it, and it's just like, I don't know. Well, the thing is, I suspect that for somebody who does that, for anybody who puts up a video and it's an in or any kind of media on the internet, they're thinking first about possible pitfalls, what not to put up, and so they're thinking, well, I don't want to put up that because that's not interesting enough. That's not blah. That's not blah. That's not blah. But it ends up causing people to be to be making media decisions based on what they think is safe defensively from a defensive perspective artistically. And I think that's fine with rhetoric. It doesn't work with other kind of media. It's certainly not with music. And what this authenticity comment made me think about was, first of all, I said, yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that is the most authentic thing I do. I'm not quite sure what it means, but I will say this much, that when I'm doing music stuff, I'm always looking for the truth. Like, I'm trying to find a way to make my song more right, or I'm trying to make a way to play it. I'm trying to get myself to practice so I can play it more right, or I'm trying to find the right arrangement for this song so it's the right length and that it keeps moving and keeps people interested and all that kind of stuff. I don't typically do that with language as a default position. I think I maintain a set of assertions and claims that I'm willing to make, but I don't feel attached to any of them. And when at the end of the day, I might say this is the strongest argument because blah and blah and blah and blah and blah. I can't ever do that with music. I always can say, well, this is the right choice because it obviously is. It is. That's it. Why? That's why it's the right choice. And then if it asked to explain it, I probably could, like, well, because it needed a change here for this or something like that. But I'm doing it with my ears, not with my mind, not with my thinking. And on that level, it's it's somehow more authentic, or at least less constructed. And I take a special care to try to get the constructed quality out of my music as much as possible. That's why I don't really write lyrics. That's why I freestyle raps instead of writing them. So authenticity is an issue. I agree. And it segues into a little bit about this issue of vulnerability. You can be authentic in media in ways such as, well, this media is authentic to those others because they identify with it. It resonates with them. It shows an experience that people can apply to their own lives. But that's not quite the same thing as not being subject to external critiques. I'm subject, certainly in music, I'm subject to external data, and I'm seeking it a lot. I'm trying to find out things in the external world that confirm what I know or contradict what I know. And then I try to find out, it's not that I'm not knowing right about the music, it's that I'm not knowing right about the mechanisms of people usually. Because with music, I know, I'm not saying I know I'm always doing it right. I'm saying I'm always knowing how far it is from what it could be or what it ought to be. And that's not the case with language. So there's authenticity there. The last issue on authenticity in media is vulnerability. If you're transparent and human and vulnerable, people, I think, are more likely to be interested and willing to engage. It's a little counterintuitive because people think they want very polished, professional style media producers and presenters. But really, I think we're kind of starting to outgrow a little bit of that, and we hopefully are starting to view each other as humans with limitations and strengths. And if one of my strengths is, and I think it is fair to say that it is, one of my strengths is being able to talk about shit indefinitely and still sort of cover some ground and not get too off topic, well, then naturally I'm going to want to try to do that. And there's no reason to have to think that a person talking about real human issues isn't going to experience real human responses to that thing and be engaged in it in meaningful ways, him or herself. I don't like the level of detachment in media that claims otherwise. The NPR style crowd of political discourse, for example, looking back to that, I don't like it because it attempts to maintain a position of objective distance as though that were preferable in circumstances when one side is clearly right and the other is clearly wrong. The failure to bridge advocacy and fact is troubling. So that's my thoughts on authenticity in media. Would anybody else like to chime in on that topic?
And I'm just wondering what y'all talking about.
Well, authenticity in media, because Basement Overlord put a comment that said he felt as though the music was the most authentic stuff that I made. Like that somehow, to him, it felt more honest or authentic than the talking stuff. So,
do you feel like he was authentic?
Well, I know I'm not saying he wasn't authentic. I'm saying I was struck by his point that when he's consuming media and talking with famous people, he has an intuitive sense that somehow the music he's consuming is more authentic, more honest, or more representative of a non-constructed truth, is how I interpreted it, than talking stuff, because talking stuff almost always has some external motivator. Like Well, I'm talking about the ideas, but what I really care about is getting everybody to think I'm smart, or getting everybody to think they'll like me. Or I'm talking about the ideas, but what I really care about is establishing dominance. I'm talking about the ideas, but what I really care about is helping people understand how to determine which ideas they have, or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
There's always a level of distance because it's so abstract. But with music, I'm just trying to make that song sound good. And I'm fighting it sometimes, you know, and not being a great musician and being kind of sloppy and all that stuff. So that's why I think there's some truth to the issue that the music's more authentic. It's less thought, it's less constructed. But there's also something misleading about it because I'm basically always freestyling the talk stuff anyway. It's not like I have a script coming in. Okay, well, thank you for watching Talk with Famous People. And enjoy these moments by breathing more.